everyone. Get this down a little. I am Debra Faye of Debra, the Debra Show. And today we are going to have a special guest of WADA back with us, as well as she is an artist. So I'm going to hold up her CD before she actually gets here. Oh, I stopped sharing my screen. So do you have your CD with you?
They're somewhere.
Well, I have it. And so, welcome back to the Debra Show. And of course, being an affiliate sponsor and co-founder with WADA,
Mhm.
I want the audience to know that's my partner right there. That's my partner right there. That's the head. She's the head of WADA, and that is Women Against Domestic Abuse. We don't have you on here as WADA today. Today you are on here as your creative self. So please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what type of artist you are. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, girl. Give us that 411-211. Come on.
So the OSSATHEMOOR, that's Ossa The Moor. And pretty much my music is to help inspire people to love themselves, to be the best of themselves, to not worry about what people think about themselves, about what other people think about them, because really it's your
Hold
journey.
on. Hold on. Where'd you go?
I'm
Where'd you
here.
go, Osa?
Oh no.
There you are.
Okay. What happened?
I'm getting a little bit of feedback, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to lower that, my mic. Okay, now say something.
Okay. So I was saying, Ossa The Moor. I'm basically my mission is to get people to become more of who they are.
Okay.
And this is I wanted to create a space without judgment, that people can, when they find themselves feeling like everything's heavy on them, things are weighing too much on them, they can actually listen to my music and be like, okay, yes, things are going on. I'm paying attention, but I'm also understand that the change starts within me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's not up to, it's not up to other people's thoughts of me that create who I am. I create who I am. And to let other people know that yes, you create who you are, and whether you accept other people's image of you or what they think of you, that's really onto you, but you can break out of that.
Yes, yes. Right quick, I'm just going to give them a rundown of the track list on OSSA, the Moor Divine Scientist. And you have parental advisory, mature content.
Hmm.
Okay, that's what it's labeled as. So the track list is the formula, the intro, power move, don't get it, hear me now, featuring African man born. You can't get mine. Increase the first law, take full control, love of power, one love. Uh, Now I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
Uh, just give us a few of anything off of here. Uh, well, let me make a special request.
Okay.
You can't get mine.
Okay.
Come on.
I gotta make a dollar out of 15 cents with a baby on my back trying to make my rent. Can't see that far, but I could take a couple hints just to move the times because I know where I've been. Divine inspiration got me walking through my earth. Keep your fool's gold because I know what I'm worth. It's for my peace of mind. I will always put in work. I am divine creation, so I always come first. A shook will lead to brighten up the path. All that I conceive is easily had. I make my own way. I blaze my own path, and you can never take from me anything I grab. A walk in meditation, you see it in my stroll. A shook is the mantra, Nuwapu is the soul. I have a bright future, I already know, but if you're still upset, I can't help because you gotta let it go.
Woo! Look, that's what I'm talking about, girl. I wish you could see this jacket to the CD. It's
Mhm.
worn out because I play it. I, I play it a lot, and I tend to listen to your music when I'm in one of them, y'all better step back kind of attitudes, when I'm like with the world, like, y'all don't know me. Y'all don't know me. Y'all better ask somebody. Well, maybe y'all better ask Osa. She know me, and I crank it up. So, how can the audience obtain your music? What they need to do? Website, everything.
Yes, I am literally on every major platform. You can get me on Spotify. You can get me on iTunes. You can even search me on YouTube. My website, osathemoor.com, and also the link osamusic.com.
All right, and make sure you spell it for them so they get it right now.
That's two S's, OSSATHEMOOR.com or OSSAmusic.com.
And just quickly,
Mm-hmm.
where did you come up with the divine scientist?
Well, it's always been something that I wanted to play with, and I think that the Ether 913 part,
Yeah.
that verse, and then before, One Love was actually a mixtape song that I
Mhm.
transformed.
One
So
love, one love.
it was I did off a Chris Brown track. I don't even know the name of the Chris Brown song. Sorry, y'all. I'm not hip to the new stuff. But I remember hearing that track and I was like, oh, this will be dope. So I did Divine Scientist, the DNA encoder, working through the green light to restore order. We rise up to our godhood, the ship is taking over. Building as Wahoo cow without the borders. Ladies gotta be divine and sacred feminine. Leave the mess and the stress, we don't have the time. It's a new kind of life and I'ma make you mine. Put the low vibes down to pick up the high. And I just kept going. And I was
Woo!
like, and I love that song, but I was like, dang, that's not my beat. But one day, whoever made that beat, because I think Chris Brown also produces his own music.
Right.
One day I'm gonna make enough money to be able to like, hey, give me a couple of tracks.
Hey, hey, and I am your fan. I don't even like to refer to myself as people, but I'm your fan. Okay, you got me, girl. You got me. I'm waiting for the next whatever to drop, because I know it's gonna be like that, and I'm gonna be riding down the street with attitude, huh?
Hmm.
With a lot of attitude, because that's the way your music, it ignites my fiery nature. So we got 9 questions. Um,
9 answers, hopefully.
and you were present your 9 questions, and you selected one that you're going to be discussing. I'm just going to quickly and briefly go over them, and then we'll jump right into it. The 9 questions: what would be the first initial approach to begin interaction with a potential love interest? Number one, friendship. Number two, surveying each other to see if the chemistry is there. Number three, do we try to avoid intimacy altogether until a decision is made to become a couple? Number four, what are some of the different approaches that can be applied even in existing relationships? Number five, how about love by the numbers and other metaphysical approaches like astrology and compatibility charts? Number six, how do we determine when it's time to make it an official love relationship? Number seven, what level of maturity are we looking for in our potential love partner or partners? Number eight, do we change up the normal expected questions like, so tell me about yourself, to something that immediately addresses a priority of ours that our potential love partner must have as part of their personality, characteristics, or some other expectation of ours? And lastly, number nine, should we make agreements not to try to impress each other and be our natural selves? So, which one did you select?
I selected. I I want to say guess which one I would select, but I'm gonna I'm gonna go with the number nine. Number nine.
Oh, number nine.
Yes.
Why number nine?
because it's always so. My thing is, if you can't come in and be your full self, then how can you expect anybody to truly love you?
Mhm.
And you should not be afraid to be yourself. And if I have to hold back on anything, if I can't tell you the truth about myself, if I can't come to you and say, hey, yes, I do this, but sometimes I'm like this, and sometimes you might not like it, sometimes I might ignore you. If I can't come to you and say those things and you can't respect me for my points of view, then we can't really be together.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to do something for me. Your
Okay.
background is rocking, shaking, and moving.
Oh
Can,
no.
can you stabilize your phone or whatever it is that you know so that
Yes. See if I
yeah,
can
so
get on a,
yes.
because I actually have it on my phone because there's construction going on in the background.
Oh, okay. So I thought you was chilling. Like I thought you was gonna say, "Girl, I'm trying to chill," or just got home from work.
I would love to chill. Let's see if we can.
Ooh, I love that picture behind you. Who's that up there on that wall that uh with the namuz on? Yeah.
that that's actually one of A and B's pictures. I
What?
don't know.
All right. And
Is it?
AMB, African man born. Okay, so now let's get back to you finishing that up. You're talking about you chose number 9.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that if you can't come in and be your full self, then it can't be nothing about some love that's going to develop eventually or anything like that. Um, what are you when you what are you saying exactly when you say uh, just come on in, be you?
I
Uh,
guess.
let me get a shout out from AMB in the background.
Oh, if she caught you.
Peace. All right. And what do you mean? I mean, it. Look, you're the wife of African man born. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, what I'm saying? And y'all got some powerful personalities. Uh, bring us up to speed. How was it allowing him to be his total? I mean, and then you didn't have to allow it because that's who you're gonna be anyway. And then your girl, bring
Yeah,
us up to speed.
you're going to be yourself. And my thing is, I've been in past relationships where people try to restrict, like, oh, you shouldn't dress like that. Oh, you shouldn't talk like that. And I'm like, why can't I talk like that? You get to go off at the mouth and talk random, and I have to be quiet? No. So one thing that I don't know, for those who don't know, like when me and African Man Born got together, one of the things that I liked was he said, I need a woman that I can talk to.
Yes.
And he meant that. Like he needs somebody that will talk, that will speak their mind, that will stand up for themselves. And I'm like, okay. So and it was also, that part was a little hard for me because I had been so long not standing up for myself as much as I should have, or overcompensating and standing up when I didn't need to argue with somebody.
Right.
So I was like, well, I have to have the space to be able to be me, and you have to be able to, like, we have to be able to trust each other and know each other. So I can't know you if you're hiding something from me. And it's the same thing with him. It was like, we kind of,
Did I
you know
lose you?
I'm
I
here.
can't hear you. Bop, bop, bop. Where you at? I can't hear
I'm
you.
here. You can't hear me.
Um.
I probably should just, I have to reconnect my computer.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. It looks like your the screen keeps going yellow and then white on the power, like
Um.
the
Well,
power.
I'm not moving, and I've got my lights on behind me. It's getting over into the evening, so you might be seeing or experiencing the shift of lighting. Like your screen keeps getting bright and then it dims and it brightens and it dims. Mine, you're actually maybe starting to see daylight pass over into
Mm,
actual evening. Um but we good, girl, we good. It's about that conversation. So
yes.
yes. So with him, he said, I need a woman that I can talk to.
Mm-hmm. And he meant that. And that's when I started learning that every man says what they need in a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to listen. Because even in a past relationship, the man said, I need a woman who's going to love me even if I mess up. And then it's like, okay, well, how much are you going to mess up? So, and but then that determines whether or not you can do that.
Right.
So, like when A and B really said he needed a woman he could talk to, he really meant that. And that's when it started to click to me, like, oh, if we really listen, especially if women are having a hard time understanding men, if we're not listening to them as much as they're not listening to us.
Wow.
If
Okay.
we listen, you'll hear like, oh, especially in the initial meeting, it's like, what are you looking for in a relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they'll tell you, they
Right.
might. And if they're honest, if they're really trying to build a connection with you, then
Mm-hmm.
they're going to tell you and be honest about it.
Right.
And I think that a lot of times we get hurt because we feel like, well, maybe that person is not being honest with us, or maybe they weren't. Maybe that you weren't paying attention. Maybe they were saying one thing and doing another.
Right.
So in order for me to be myself and for you to actually love me and for me to love you back, I have to be able to express myself. So then you don't have any question about what I'm saying versus what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that I can truly see um, is a great help when you're starting out a potential, have a potential love interest in someone, and are thinking about them becoming a potential, counterpart mate to end up eventually becoming their, spouse, um, is very important. What other advantages do you see that number nine would give you when you're talking about making an agreement not to impress each other? Didn't you want to be impressed by
Of
A
course,
and B?
I, like for me, impress me, or I think we should be impressed by the person as who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's lying to you, they're not impressing you, they're lying to you. So, but if we come in like for instance, even okay, let's take this story. And I didn't lie to him, I actually withheld that information. So that's different.
So the difference, uh, the
Um,
difference being, hold on one second. Um, so the difference being, you just withheld some
mhm.
some
Because
info.
I left a little bit of it out. And I was like, yeah, I used to. So African Man Born didn't know that I rapped.
What?
He didn't know for, I would
How
say,
did you manage to withhold that?
because, well, the thing is, I wasn't doing music at the time, and I had no intention of going back to it. I had been producing and writing music since I was 12, producing music since I was 16. And I had gotten to the point where I just stopped it because I wasn't inspired. And I was like, my sound's never going to come out. And one day I just went through so much stress and I was like, yo, I have to write something.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in and I wrote the intro to the CD, the Ethan 913, Creator is Me, taking my place as God MC. I wrote that. And, and then I played it for him. I was like, yo, this sounds kind of good. So I played it for him. And then he was like, wow. He said, did you used to battle rap? And I was like, absolutely not. But but for him, it was like, and then he just encouraged me to get into rap more because originally I was more like, I wanted to get into singing more.
Ah.
Singing is kind of singing. It was difficult for me when I'm not playing an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So, most people, they can go a cappella and everything. Like, no, I need an instrument behind me because I need to hear the reference.
Right.
And it's hard because a lot of beats now, they don't have melodies in it. So it's nothing to actually catch on. Like, how do I do that?
Right.
So it took a long time for me to understand that. But he actually, just the fact of him coming in and saying, hey, you should produce your album. Then I was like, okay. Then I started learning about what melodies are. And it actually helped me be able to sing a little more because now I understand what in tune meant because I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
I
Right.
didn't take any music theory. I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, yeah, it sounds nice. The rhythm sounds nice. The lyrics are nice, but there's something off. And I was like, okay, what is it? But then everybody would just be silent instead of just saying, like, oh, you sing that song great a cappella, but when the music comes on, it doesn't match.
Right, right,
But I didn't understand what that was. And
right,
I think a lot of people would be further along in whatever it is they're pursuing if somebody would just explain little things to them.
right. So let me ask you something. Um, did you know that, I mean, did you start off right away knowing that you wanted to be uh AMB's counterpart, his companion, or did you have to fill him out with first, seeing how he transitions from, being himself, not impressing you? I mean,
It
what?
was, see, it was weird because I feel like we were put together.
Oh.
Because when I'm telling you, when I originally met him in, he was teaching at one of the, at the time, Nawapian classes.
Mhm.
And I would have these dreams about him, but I wasn't attracted to him.
Right.
Minding my own business. I was like, I had this weird dream. So one time when we actually started conversing with each other, I was like, I keep having these weird dreams. And I was like, and he would, he would sit there and say, yeah, he would have these like weird dreams, or he would get this inkling in his mind. And he'd be like, what? And he would say the same thing. So we'd be like, no, this is like weird.
So you mean to tell me the two of you were rejecting each other?
Yeah.
That rejecting thing was going
It
on with the two of you?
wasn't like, I didn't, it was, we, number one, it was like we had just met. So it really felt like, I was like, what is this? We just seen each other. We don't hang out. We weren't like, I admired his teaching style. I was very like, oh, okay. I like how you talk. What do you think about this? And we were able to have those type of conversations. But for me, it wasn't like I could see myself with you and we're having children. And I think it was the same for him.
Okay.
But I don't think that we thought, and then it was just weird because it was almost like magnetic.
Oh,
So it was like, okay, and then at one point we couldn't stand not to be near each other.
what?
Yeah, it was like that. And I was like, it's probably the weirdest feeling I've ever felt. I've
And
never
where are you living? Where you live now? What state are you
felt
in?
we were in Boston.
Okay.
Um, and it was just like I said, I've never felt that feeling before. That's why I was like, Pana thought who put us together, because I was like, we wouldn't have. It just, and nothing about it made sense. I'm telling you, I didn't believe African Mambour was a rapper. I believe he might have rapped. I was like, okay, everybody raps. I didn't. That's why I said I didn't bring up the fact that I did music or anything. I just kept it to myself. I was like, I don't believe this dude, and he knows I tell him all the time. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
isn't.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, uh I'm just not impressed with the fact that you are a rapper, so
I was more impressed with the fact that he was teaching,
okay, okay.
and it wasn't that I was discounting him as a rapper. I just was like, okay, you're a rapper. And then I saw him perform. I was like, oh, you're really a rapper. So I think that just little. That's why I said he didn't hold back. He always said who he was, but
Right.
it was I think it was more fun discovering like who we are.
Yeah.
It came to me, he was like, I didn't know you know how to sew. Like it was simple things. And I think that that's what a lot of people are missing in their relationships, is that they're not discovering things about each other. So
Right.
like this person who ends up being your roommate that you
Right.
might mate with from time to time.
Right. Right. So since the two of you were not impressing each other, describe those moments, because we're talking about your approach to love, your different, and what made that different in your approach with him than any your past relationships. What was,
I think because I wasn't trying to change myself. Like he was what he was looking for in a partner, in a relationship. I already was doing that.
Mhm.
Um, and he was, he celebrated like my little wins, because when he first met me, I was going for my teaching license.
Mhm.
And he, I was so nervous, and I told him, I was like, wow, I passed. So he actually took me out to breakfast to
Oh,
celebrate.
yeah.
And I was like, wow, he actually celebrates like little things like that. Like those are important. He remembers dates.
Ah,
Like,
well,
wow, this.
yeah.
But the thing is, most guys don't remember. They don't care. It goes over their head.
Right, right,
So it was just seeing that he paid attention to details in a way that most people don't. That I'm still learning how to pay attention to
right,
detail.
right.
So
So do you think that allowed the two of you to relax because there's not an expectation set for remembering dates, um because that's a big thing in a
mhm.
lot in relationships. You forgot my birthday, you forgot my anniversary, you forgot this or that or this or that. So taking this approach for you, does it like relieve your stress when you know
it just it wasn't even about being stressful. It was like I don't have to have that mental thought like, okay, make sure you wear this type of dress, make sure you have on heels, make sure your hair is a certain way. Like he actually likes a girl with natural hair. I've never had a perm,
mhm,
but other relationships were like, oh, you're not going to straighten your hair. I'm like, you met me with curly hair. Why are you asking me who you met with curly hair to straighten their hair? Like if I straighten my hair, it's something that I thought to do. It has nothing to do with impressing you.
right.
So I didn't have that nagging. And it was like, if I wanted to do something, like even shave my head, he took me to a barber to let me shave the sides of my head off. He didn't go, oh, I'm not gonna like you for it. And I think that's when I was like, okay, this person actually likes me for me. Because
Right.
ways I am myself, and I know a lot of times it would turn some dudes off because they're like, "Yo, you're just like comfortable," and it's like I should be comfortable. And if you're not comfortable with me being comfortable, then this is wrong.
So I mean, you know when we think about impressing someone, for you, how did you get away from that idea? I mean, because I'm sure you grew up around people and you watched how they would play the roles, to impress their, you know, would be boyfriends, girlfriends, and you've had friends and you know them and you know when they're putting on airs, right?
Mm,
Uh was watching other people trying to impress another person just so that they could, because it's like a competition, you know it enters their mind that maybe this person is surveying someone else as well, so I need to try to be a little extra, so let me amp it up. I mean, what moved you into the mindset of, look, if I'm gonna be with somebody, they just, all of me is what they're going to have to deal with.
because you know what, I failed at being that type of person at so many times, and it was like I felt cringy doing it. You go through your adolescence, your early 20s, and you're just like, I want to be sexy. I want men to think that I'm fine and all this. And it was just like, then I'm walking down the street, I'm cute, yeah. Then I trip over something. So it's like I could have wore flats and not tripped. Or if I tripped, I could have kept stepping without messing up my ankles. So I think that's how my like my mind works. It's more about what's practical.
Right. So what, and that happens.
Mhm.
I I know, I wasn't trying to impress anybody in church, but you have some embarrassing, it's like when you're trying to impress someone, uh, you're, you get clumsy.
Mhm. And and it's not even just clumsy. Like even if you've managed to create some type of mysteriousness,
Yeah.
at some point I was going to ruin it. And then I was like, ah. So I was like, you know what? How about? And then I just started taking this attitude. Well, they just got to take me for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And I think, and a lot of times too, when I was younger, I was very choosy about who I liked and who I let like me.
Mhm.
my family always be like, well, we never see you with anybody. And I'm like, trust me, you don't want to see the type of people they're not worthy of bringing around. So I think just from me having that naturally selection or
Mhm,
naturally selecting people,
mhm.
I think I started crafting like my attitude towards myself and what love actually was
Do
or
you
is.
think, because you're also an empath,
Mhm.
do you think that being an empath for you also helped you with coming into an acceptance of the importance of not having to impress anyone, that, a young man that, could be a potential? Does your abilities as an empath have anything to do with your being able to naturally want to be yourself and being able to feel that that person out?
I think maybe not necessarily wanting to be myself, but definitely wanting to fill somebody out. So I found a few times where I've rejected men and I walked past them. They would try to stop me and I walked past them. And then next thing you know, they would switch into this like this demon person and they're cussing me out and all this stuff. And I was like, see, that's why I didn't want to talk to you. So and it's I think for me it was always a feeling
Mhm,
because it was like, and I know a lot of women can probably relate to this. Like for me, it felt like a man couldn't feel too weak to me, or he couldn't feel like overbearing. So it's kind of like finding that right temperature.
mhm,
So I don't want to say, men good. No, it's not like, oh, you're too weak, so I'm not, or you don't make enough money. It wasn't that. It's how is your temperament? How is your vibe?
mhm.
Like this one guy, I liked him and but he wouldn't let me like him. It was like, he was always tense and he felt like, because for those who don't know, I am kind of a chubby chaser. I really do like bigger dudes.
Hey, hey.
So this dude, he thought, because he was bigger, that I didn't like him and everything. I was like, no, you just won't let me like you.
Right, right.
And so it was just like, um, and I think for that, people, it's almost like you have to accept yourself
Mhm,
if you're going to deal with somebody like me. It's like you have to accept who you are because I accept who I am. And
mhm.
then once you accept who you are, you can accept other people for who they are.
Right. So, um, the idea of, you know, trying to impress or be impressed, let's say for you, since you're not going to be trying to impress the person, does it turn you off when you know, so, that they're trying to impress you? I mean, were there ever any moments with A and B where you kind of might would have looked him upside his head, like, if did he ever slip and do anything that felt like he was trying
No,
to
no, he's A and B is unapologetically himself. Like he'll tell you, if any of you follow him on Facebook or Instagram, he'll say how he's feeling. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and but he can also defend himself.
yeah.
So it's not, for me. It was the right balance of emotion and strength. So it's like he knows when to get himself composure, but he also, as an artist, he's a whole personality.
Ooh, ooh,
So and
yeah.
and the thing and what I like about it is that he doesn't force me to be extroverted.
Mhm,
So, and I think because a lot of times when extroverts like and introverts, the introverts, sorry, they kind of pair well together.
mm,
When you're with another and two introverts are together, they bore each other
yes.
because one expects the other person to be more exciting, and I felt like I didn't have to change that role. I didn't have to be the extrovert. I didn't have to be the one like, come on, let's do this. And if he plans stuff, he'll plan stuff just as much as I plan stuff.
Right, right.
On one person, it's really a balance. And for me, the balance is more important
Mhm.
than women role and men role. It's more about a balance.
So, it's like an. Would you say that question number 9 is like a, you know, up to question number 9 is like waiting to exhale? So,
Mm.
would you say that question number 9 is one where you can go into um, dealing with a person who may become your counterpart or whatever? It's more of an exhale. You can breathe. You start out being able to just relax, breathe. And if they discover that you're not it, and you discover that they're not it. There's no harm, no foul, and so on.
Yeah, and I think it's a mutual respect for each other's humanity. And I know I know there's better words for it, but that's
No,
just the way
that's a
I see it.
great one. Respect for each other's humanity. I think our listening audience should take a note of that. Respect for each other's humanity. That's poetic. You need to do something with that.
Respect yourself. But no, but when you see, like, some people, they want to change other people. They're like, oh well, this person doesn't do this enough. Or I'm sorry, like, let me give a real example. So like, if somebody, they feel like they're not sexy enough, they're like, well, I prefer somebody who dresses up sexy. And it's like, well, then you should have dated a woman who dressed up sexy, because I'm pretty sure when you met that woman, she wasn't dressed sexy.
Mhm.
Like, even, and you can tell, guys or they'll meet people women at the club, and I'm like, you can tell the conservative woman in the club.
Mhm.
You can't, because even if she's dressed in club wear, she's dressed in club wear a certain way.
Right, right, right.
Is how the women are dressed. And I think that, if that's something that's important to you,
Mhm.
either express that, but not in a, you don't do this for me kind of way.
Right.
So it's like, if and also, if somebody decides to do something for you, not to shut them down.
That is
I think that's
awesome.
important.
Yes, that is truly.
Especially when you're dealing with an introvert,
Mhm.
because a lot of times introvert will let that out for the person that they're with.
Right.
And
Mhm.
if you shut them down in your relationship behind closed doors, that's where you've closed everything off.
Right. So we are nearing our time to wrap it up. What would you say? What leave the audience, leave my viewers, my followers, um, leave them with a bit of a suggestion or advice when it comes to not impressing a potential.
I would say, be the best you. That's the, like, put your best self forward, and whatever, like, how you would imagine that relationship goes.
Mhm.
And
And that's
then,
that.
yeah,
And
and then, I love you, and go love yourself. That's all.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know what we got to do next, girl? Since we getting ready to wrap it up, you know what we got to say? We got to. Oh, check this out. I'm sending everybody some pinwheel love. Hmm. Pinwheel love, everybody. So you know, Osa, it's time for us to say what? Be. Come on, say it.
be, be
Different
different
and love it.
and love it.
Now, come on, say it. Say it in one flow.
Be different and love it.
Can you give us a little rap with that as we head on up out of here about give us a little freestyle. Come on, be different and love
Oh God, I'm not a freestyler. Um, let's see. Um, you be you,
it.
I'll be me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we can ever expect from each other. So let's just let it be.
Oh,
You be
that's it.
yourself, I'll be myself. I'll love you like I love everybody else.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I like that. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna get on out of here. I love you. I love A and B. It's a blessing to have the two of you a part of my existence. You're very sacred to me as a divine couple. And you know, we're gonna keep water going. Water is growing, and
Yes,
I love the fact that water is growing. And thank you for being a caring artist, a natural activist. And I'm just going to give a shout out to my WNT9 network family. Um, give a big hug to my water sister. Mm, mm,
that.
hug it back. Love it, love it. Thank you for coming back onto the show. Peace and blessings. Um,
Here we go.